recording just because.
Okay. Come on.
Anything's allowed. Where'd my phone go?
It's right there.
Why is it gone?
No, Peter. And turn towards me. Face me.
Face me in battle!
Okay.
I'm gonna be very intimate with this new table.
We're gonna be closer. We're gonna wait until some people show up.
Welcome people to the live stream.
Woot.
Live stream we do every single Sunday morning without missing a beat.
Yep. Okay.
Is this supposed to be? Is that a threaded thing? It is a threaded thing. It's just really loose. Weird. Make sure I'm
Oh, let me copy the YouTube link into Discord so people know.
Yeah.
Hey, we got Nocturne. Oh, Reverend, we miss you too.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we got a lot to go over. So to give you guys clarification, there's a lot of stuff kind of going in behind the scenes. Some good stuff, some not so good stuff. But overall, there's a lot being worked on, and the goal is to be able to get back out regularly and have some content, not just live streams, but regular content all the time. Pretty soon, I'm not gonna guarantee by this month, but by the end of October, we should be right back on our regular schedule with more video content, more actual brewing content, and then regular live streams again.
Yeah. Yeah, and I am not the man behind the chair today.
Not the man behind the chair.
And probably going forward, I'll probably be more up here instead of behind the chair.
But he is a brewer now, so announcement to all you out there.
Hey!
He's officially brewing for
No Drought.
No Drop It. There's a B in it, isn't there?
No.
No Drop It. That's the only way to say it. Damon's going to love me for it. We also, continuing news stuff, we did a video last week in lieu of live stream because we weren't quite set up with everything we need to do for new live stream stuff. But that video is nearly edited. Jack, if you're watching, let me know if it's going to be out this week or not.
And we tried 5 of the 32 random homebrews that some are way too old, some...
That's our bad, guys.
Yep.
We're going to try some more today, though.
Yeah, my goal is to get through as many as I can.
We are going to blast through all those beers, and then after having blasted... I started that off right. After having blasted, we are going to be able to accept new beers and drink them and judge them on live stream.
And with that, if you do send beers, make sure that they're attention me. They have what it is.
What date it was made on.
What date it was bottled.
What day you want us to drink it by.
And your name. I am tired of mystery, and please not just on the cap real quick.
I like a little Scooby-Doo action every now and again. So.
But yeah, it just helps me organize the beer fridge.
Yeah.
And especially since I am doing my full-time job and then brewing on top of it, I have less time to organize the beer fridge.
Yeah. But overall, as we go into this live stream, how do you like the new setup? New-ish. We're going to try to get into a setup that can be more multifunctional going forward, but it's going to take some more R&D work. But this is step number 1, getting this camera on this computer with this setup-y.
Hi, boss.
You should seem a little bit more intimate now because your camera is closer to us.
Yep.
What's up, Donks? Is that his name for you?
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was like dogs, but he was trying to call us dogs.
We're just gonna claim that's his name for me.
Perfect.
Because it's probably more YouTube appropriate than what he probably actually calls me.
Probably because you have a thick, juicy bum, and he's like badonkadonk, and then that's why. That's how.
I was gonna say all my gay friends will tell you that is wrong.
That's how bosses should talk to employees, right?
Yeah. So yeah. On other Genus news, we had Among the Pines a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Which was a blast. I actually was sober enough to drive home.
Nice.
Because my 2 friends were not as sober enough. How was yours?
It was great.
How's your back feeling?
My back's feeling really good. So we did jet keg backpacks where we actually carried our kegs on our backs. I definitely was sore the next morning, but it was fun. So we were able to we instead of being a stationary part of the Brewfest, we went mobile on it.
They were stationary part of it.
We were stationary. I mean, we took lots of breaks, obviously, but we were wandering around and being able to chat with other breweries while being able to serve our own beer. We got trading cards out of it. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, 22 breweries. I only hit 13.
I think I got most of the trading cards. I don't think I've caught them all. I think I'm missing like 2 or 3 of the trading cards.
Yeah.
But now there's trading cards for all the breweries in Spokane, including ours. If you want one, I don't know.
Send us beer and we may send a card back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If you send us beer or something from our Amazon wish list and you send it with a note saying, hey, send me one of those trading cards, then we'll send you something back. Or if you just send us an envelope with an envelope inside it that's got your return address, we'll send you one.
Yep.
And some stickers.
Because we don't have the board behind me, I don't know what's new on.
Oh, yeah. The board's right there.
Let's turn off.
We are about to enter Valley Cup. Valley Cup is live on the 16th.
Yep.
And I know that both Genus and No Drought are releasing some of the boozier beers that'll be out there.
Yeah.
So we are releasing an Imperial White Stout that is blueberry cinnamon French toast white stout, and it's a collaboration with the Hidden Bagel Company, regular bagel company.
And then we're doing being a German brewery, we're doing a German chocolate cake stout. And Damon, please tell me which company we partnered with, because you guys made that before I signed on.
He doesn't know yet. Daniel says looking vibrant today. Thank you.
Wonderful. And then I know TT's partnered with a company in town that makes mushrooms.
Yeah, psychedelic kind. So you're gonna get really, really crazy when you go there.
Yaya partnered with Mama Torres Chips and Salsa,
which sounds delightful.
Are
they making like a corn lager that's gonna go with the chips and salsa, or what's
yeah, it's a corn lager, and they're actually and they're doing some pepper into it. So it's a peppered corn lager. I
like that.
At least that's what I've heard. So it's a German chocolate cake pastry stout, and it's Just American Desserts is who we partnered with at No Drought.
Nice.
And then Natural 20 partnered with up north in Greenbluff. We have the Harvest House, which does a lot of apples, so they're making a graph.
Mm-hmm.
I saw those beautiful pictures of the apple juice going in yesterday.
Nice.
And then I do not know so I know that we got Badeau, which is a cookie and another dessert place, and then Crepe Sisters, but I don't know which one is with V2 and which one is with Badass.
That's awesome. We're gonna have a lot of sweet stuff this week, this go around, which I'm kind of excited for, because I feel like everyone goes for, like, you know, if you have a generalized category like we did last time where it was, you know, under a certain percentage, I feel like everyone goes for IPA because they're like, everyone's gonna love an IPA, which is true. They're gonna. So I like that a lot of the shift this time around.
So, Badass is with Crepe Sisters, a lemon curd sour.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Thank you, Damon, for being on top of this and actually knowing.
Well, he's the one that's running the Valley Cup, so.
Yep. Which also, if you come to the Valley, I'm just going to casually point you guys to voting for No Drought, so that way I can pick the next one with Damon.
Yeah, don't vote for Genus this time, or else it's going to be seafood beer next time. Just throwing that out there.
Yep. So that means V Twin is with the other dessert place, and
nice.
Who knows what Barry's doing, because Barry moves at Barry speed, which I love Barry. Barry is one of the nicest people, but he definitely moves at his own pace.
Yeah, it happens. He makes some good beer though. So
yep.
He got second in the last one. He technically tied with me and Tim, but he got second overall.
So yeah, Genus has a new employee.
We have a new employee. His name's Spencer. He's really, really cool. He'll be behind the bar if you guys are around. Want to check it out? But yeah. Let's dive into a topic. By the way, we spent most of our morning setting up new systems. So if you've got a topic idea, let's answer that. And
I'm actually going to throw out a quick topic and stuff. Sure. This is just because I've been listening to beer podcasts, and I've been listening to the Brew Lab today, where they actually were talking about IBU calculators, and there's a new one that just came out.
Oh, is it more accurate?
Yeah, the guy, over the course of, which I do recommend watching this episode, so we're not going to dive too much because there's a lot, but over 7 years, over 300 beers, where he actually sent the beer off to get actually tested to compare against his calculator, and it takes into account, like, what type of hops, when you add them,
using a hop bag or not, things like that.
That actually he found did not make as big an impact. So, clarity of beer actually was one of the bigger impacts.
Oh, that makes sense.
He couldn't figure out why. Like, he couldn't determine why.
I would say the clarity of the beer is a bigger impact because there's some polar molecules that are on starch or haze-forming proteins and starches.
Well, protein was the same. he actually had the protein tested for both the two.
And so the IBUs were independent of protein but dependent on clarity.
Yeah.
So that'd be haze-forming starches, which those are non-polar, which makes that doesn't make sense because that acid would be naturally polar. Alpha acids would be naturally polar.
pH was another one that he noticed affected.
Which would make sense because that changes the polarity of proteins.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if how pH, so why protein levels do it. So by the way, most proteins actually flip polarity with a certain pH. So I'm wondering if the pH in the proteins seem independent because of how the pH affects the protein's polarity.
Yeah. So, but he tried to keep all the factors, and so he did hundreds of experiments. Like
nice
with just changing one factor to compare, and it was like I'm still wrapping my head around, and all I know is even though I know that we're not going to send beers off to have the IBUs tested, I'm still probably going to
Party Time Brewing, good day.
Take his calculator and just play around with it at the brewery.
That'll be fun.
And I'll send you a link so that way you can play around with it here.
That'd be fun. Yeah, if we did play around with the calculator and do a tested IBU, which by the way, I don't really care what my IBUs end up. I go by final flavor, and so it's after you've brewed thousands of beers, you're kind of like, I just kind of know what's gonna happen. But I think it would be really fun to have like more accurate data because IBUs should still be taken into consideration with beers that don't have a lot to show for them. So the difference between like an 8 IBU American Light Lager and a 15 IBU American Light Lager are huge, whereas the difference between a 30 IBU porter and a 50 IBU porter really isn't a huge difference. So there's every time that people think IBUs matter are the times that I'm probably like, it doesn't really matter. And then those few exceptions are like, it kind of matters.
Yeah.
Sour beers are another one where the IBUs like have an impact.
Yeah, but the big thing is the square root mean difference for his was between 2.4 and 5 IBU difference than what predicted.
That's fantastic.
And some of the more popular current calculators, like he had one where the difference was 135 IBUs than what it actually was.
Crazy.
Because it just broke down at the higher, because the calculators, most of the calculators were designed when American light lagers were the thing.
Yeah, and they just go completely balls to the walls.
And now IPAs exist where a lot of late edition hops and dry hopping, which the calculators do not know how to deal with.
Lars says, do you guys remember the hop cider I sent over? Curious what you thought. I'm going to be honest, Lars, I don't. I also don't know that we
was it in a
yet.
can? Lars, tell me if it was in a can. If it's in a can, I think it's still in there. If not, then we did drink it and we don't remember it.
There's also a possibility they got drank while already drunk, so I apologize for that.
Yep.
We owe you a beer.
Yeah, so also, since it's cider season, you should just remake it and send it to us again.
That's true. Yeah,
it's cider and fresh hop season. Like, why aren't you doing a fresh hop version of it?
Oh, that's some Genus news. We have some fresh hops on orders. We're actually going to make a fresh hop beer this year, which usually we're kind of against fresh hop beers because they're stupid and all that, but they're also not stupid if you do them right. So get ready. So a lot of the fresh hop beers that you see out there in cans are just bad IPAs.
Lars, we have not drank those yet because I think I know exactly which one where those are in the fridge.
And would you like us to drink them today, despite how old they might be?
I'm actually going to go grab the cider since we're talking about it.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah, we really do apologize. There's a lot that kind of hit me and the brewery in general, specifically over the last 3 months. And so we had a plan to get content rolling out a lot sooner than it is going to. And we're still kind of working on some infrastructure to make that consistently happen. But the cool thing is we did build a lot of infrastructure. So now we're this close to being ready to roll out content consistently again with less hiccups. There's just a lot that went on that wasn't really planned for or expected.
So is it the Kirkland cider?
Is it this guy? Let us know. If so,
because we're drinking it now.
It's happening now.
How to make a fresh hop would be. Oh yeah.
Goes with Kirkland juice. Hey, we still got it.
Hey. So yeah, KO. I've done a couple fresh hops at my home brewing at home, and they've never turned out great. So what are some tips, Peter?
Oh, so that's a good time to be thinking about it, I guess. So fresh hop season, first of all, if it's homegrown fresh hops, you really need to know what your weather's doing and when to pick them. And you're not always going to get optimal plants. That's kind of part of why store-bought hops or hops that you can get from hop farms work so much differently than homegrown plants. If you've got 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 vines, then you're kind of relying on being able to use those 1 or 2 or 3 or 10 vines, right? Whereas if let's say a giant hop farm has a lot of vines, then they're able to select what hops they get that are the best and what hops that they get are worse. And so a big part of the hop market is, hey, we have bad weather. We know there's going to be a chance to ruin a lot of the crops, so we have to pick them. Or, hey, we can hold this out and wait until the hops are fully ripened. And by the way, when hops are fully ripened on your vine, you'll see a little brown edge around the outside, but the majority of the hop will still be a vibrant green.
Yeah.
So you're kind of relying on, I hope nothing happened to my hops, and they're kind of relying on, well, we'll pick them when we know they're not going to get ruined, and or at least go to maturity if I can. And then every hop season you have a certain amount of really good hops, a certain amount of not so good hops, a certain amount of worse hops. Whereas on your homegrown vines, you kind of always are just at the whim of whatever your season did.
Well,
right?
And they have the flexibility of, because they have such volumes, they can actually, for not necessarily the fresh hops, but the pellets, they can actually blend the maybe not so great hops with some of the better hops to make a pretty good product.
Yeah, they can make it so that it's universally acceptable. So they're not actually giving waste to all that. And they have other byproducts. So now that we have things like lupulin pellets and the American Nobles or whatever, the bract material that's separated out. The nice thing about that for them is they can take, maybe they're not perfect, hops that go straight into the pelletizer, and they can shake out the lupulin through the nitrogen cryo system, whatever they do, and they can get all the lupulin and bract material separated from maybe lesser desirable hops.
Also, let us know in the comments, and in the comments, because that helps YouTube algorithm, if you guys want us to do some kind of sit-down streams where we might have a guest on the side for, like, maybe getting Yakima Valley hops to do they remote in while we sit there and we talk about hops and stuff, or imperial yeast or some of the other.
That's definitely doable. One of the things that I'm working on with the new setup is the ability to do multicam also. And so with multicam and different scenes, by maybe not next week, but a couple weeks down the road, I should be able to have an actual activity going on at the same time as we're doing the podcast. And so we should be able to flip back and forth between those.
Yeah. So sorry, just random thought because we were talking about hops and stuff. But the big thing is, I always recommend whenever doing a fresh hop is calculate more wort, because the hops soak up so much liquid.
You lose a ton. So, it's not even a terrible idea to like DME back some extra volume. So if you were to, let's say you're trying to go for 1060, you just make an over volume 1040 wort with the same amount of grain and just plan on adding a lot of that to a decent amount of DME later. Oh, and we just got darker.
Also, I'm really loud. You're really quiet.
You're really loud. I'm really quiet.
Yeah, according to Damon.
If my mic is on, I'm really quiet. Well, we'll fix that real quick. Ask some more questions though.
Oh, John says you sound fine to him. Damon, I just might be freakishly loud.
When I did the levels, they were looking the exact same. So
yeah. And Lars, sorry the light went out. There.
I got a quick fix. It's all good.
Okay. Damon's saying you're a lot quieter.
A lot quieter? Is it anybody else or is it just him?
Anyone else think that Peter's a lot quieter? Okay. While we're doing that, Reverend KY, I don't know what you mean. That's just
More
me.
importantly, while I'm over here, am I a lot quieter? That will tell me how to fix the problem. If it's a problem. If not...
KO agrees that you're a lot quieter.
Okay.
And KO is one of our regulars, so...
So you would know.
Yep.
Not that Demon wouldn't know, but it's always good to know if it's a computer issue or a
It's
issue.
it's 2 data points instead of 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so Reverend KY, please explain what you mean, because it's early. John Crawford, fun hypothetical. What are you filling 4 taps for an Oktoberfest party? What 4 beers do you brew? If you have the time, you're brewing a Martzen, for sure. If you're starting your brew now, you do not have time for a Martzen. Also in Oktoberfest. Honestly, I would do an IPA with all German ingredients like we do at No Drought. For those more IPA drinkers. And you could do a Lutramarzen if you're trying to get stuff done.
Let me know if that's any different.
And I would do a Lutra Pils at the moment because I'm assuming that you have a Oktoberfest party coming up and you need 4 beers.
Nope, not different. So that means the chord's wrong.
Well, I messed up on the chord then. No, I have not done that. I would be down to try it once I get back into home brewing, if I ever get back into home brewing, because all my brewing time is now just going to be at No Drought.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yep. Kevin, beer for a brat bath. Honestly,
I like IPAs. I like West Coast IPAs.
West Coast IPAs are really cool. I actually like amberish beers, personally.
A little bit sweeter.
A little bit sweeter, and I get some of that grainy kind of flavor coming in. It depends on your brats. I'm brewing a trip. So I have never brewed a Tripel. Peter?
Hell yeah, I have.
Of course you have. There. So I've had a couple Tripels local that are actually pretty good. So, but yeah.
Show it's how it's on. It should be.
But yeah.
Checking.
How's this sound, guys? Does this sound good?
Sound better.
Sounding better? Let me know. Also, I do have a voice that carries. And Damon says yes. So.
Perfect. Hey, it was the cord.
Yep. So I messed up on the cord.
Just might mean I have to either throw away that cord or get it fixed. Could just be a bad cord.
Yep. Okay. Awesome.
Hey.
Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Jesse.
Okay.
Sounds great. Oh, man. Thank you. You guys are so nice.
Yep.
Say it again. Say it again.
Have you ever done a piquette?
Piquette?
Yeah. Make a low ABV with must or pomace after a press, apple wine, or just whatever you press.
Oh, that's kind of fun.
So no, I have not.
Sounds like piquette.
Also, what would be your 4 beers that you would brew for an Oktoberfest party, if you have the time?
If I had the time to brew 4 beers for an Oktoberfest party, i.e. thinking months ago, a Martin Classic Fest beer, so like a slightly malty or light lager would have to go.
Which also, we will have those both on at No Drought for our Oktoberfest party.
Nice. I brewed something stupid high ABV that I planned out a long time ago, like a proper harvest ale. If you haven't tried JW Lee's Harvest Ale, it's amazing. So do that. And I'd probably do something that's kind of like a throwaway, like our coffee Kolsch, or like it's got a little bit of extra flavor. If I wanted to really impress people, I would do a sweet potato IPA. And that's something you can do in, 12 days.
Also, I am going to just say me and Peter have talked about trying to do the most non-German beer that we can.
Hell yeah.
Just because now that I work at a German brewery, I kind of want to attempt to...
Anti-Reinheitsgebot about it?
Yep. Which we have decided that the starches would come from potatoes only.
Yep.
So.
It's doable. Believe us.
So, cider.
Cheers.
I like the nose.
Yeah, by the way, Lars, thank you for sending this, and we are sorry that... this is Lars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you for sending this, and we are sorry we did not get to it sooner.
Also, Lars, make sure you write your name on it next time.
Yeah, that. Better labels, better pizza. Better... I don't get hard. I don't... What? TikTok.
Yep. Also, since we've kind of moved into Q&A, just ask what questions you want.
Mm-hmm.
That's what... We're going to try to get a little bit more structured on topics and stuff in the future, but
right now we're trying to test up the new setup, and if you've got ideas of what you'd like to see, I'm thinking we're going to go into being able to do both a live stream and something to do with a brew day at the same time, even if it's just, hey, we're mashed in over there and we've got like a brew day cam over there or something like that.
we also might be doing remote live streams at breweries with the brewers instead of having them come here.
Yep.
Us go to them.
That
and
takes
hang out.
one more piece of equipment, but we're working on it.
So, yep. Yeah, no, I know exactly which IPA is yours. Like, I have it over there. I might just dive into some of the other people's stuff first.
Do a little
Ours.
rotation. Our goal is to get through, what, 4 a day? 5?
Yeah, so we'll kill both of Lars's, and then I have 2 more over there.
Perfect. Is Adam Chumley on yet?
No, I'm not seeing Adam. Should I text Adam?
Yeah, you should. Adam, by the way, when you watch this in the replay, if you watch this in replay, we have a video that has one of your beers being drank today
But
on
we're
it.
going to do a video with the rest of yours. Just have an Adam Chumley video,
Yeah.
and you might not be up, or you might be dealing with kids, which is perfectly fine.
Kids is no, it's not. Yeah, sacrifice your kids, and then just join the live stream. It's the way to go. What other? Make whatever you want and just call it a Keller beer. Hey, that's a pretty good idea. Then you can just have a young version, whatever you want. It's a Keller beer.
Yep.
That's gonna have a little bit of haze to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, any Keller or table beers I'm a huge fan of. Whistle Punk in Town does a table beer on cask, and it's like if I'm not filling any of the lagers, which at this point in time I'm always filling the lagers.
Yeah.
That's my go-to because I can just drink it real quick and not even notice I drank it.
Yep.
It's delicious. That's why I don't notice it. Now my life's kind of revolving just around drinking as many different lagers around town, so that way I can compare them to what I'm going to be brewing.
Yep.
And
Which the best one's still Whistlebunk in my mind.
yeah,
Go to Whistlebunk for your Hellas. Go to Whistlebunk for your pills.
which my goal is to get to the level of Whistlepunk.
Yeah.
Which I am going to be down the road. We're going to talk about how to brew a proper lager as a topic once I do more research and get some practice.
Yeah. That'd be a good topic to talk about next week.
Next week.
Next week.
Okay, so I have a couple podcasts and a book. I did order a brewing lager book for myself.
Okay. We can do it later. We can next week can be the first launch into like trying a new system where we have a multicam, and
Yep.
then just we'll be maybe home brewing at the same time or real brewing at the same time. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Ooh, Dime Roads, that sounds amazing, and yeah, definitely plan that one out in advance.
Yes, that sounds awesome.
How many months in advance should you be brewing a Fest or a Martzen?
So if you want to be true to style, if you want to be proper, then I say between 2 and 3 months in advance is when you're aiming for, because I like to have at least that month and preferably closer to 2 months for that lagering period. That said, you can get really, really passable results within 3-4 weeks.
Hey, Adam's here because I texted him.
Thanks for the line, Matt. Adam, by the way, we drank your beer on a non-live stream video that we did last week that's going to be published maybe this week.
And then me and Peter will schedule a time to sit down and do the other 5 beers that we have as just an
Adam Chumley tasting special.
Yep.
If that's okay with you. I don't know if you want them to be peppered in with other beers or on a live stream.
Yes,
either way.
Daniel. I haven't touched the smoky hazy IPA or the smoked hazy IPA. I was saving that just because there was 2 other beers that were ahead of it when I grabbed beers out of the fridge.
Okay, that one's still in there though.
Yep.
I remember talking about it last week.
Yeah, but we decided not to. We had one of your other beers last week, Daniel.
Yes. And also, if it is oxidized, I 100% take the blame for it. So if it's not good, it's my fault, and I'm sorry.
That one actually shouldn't be oxidized because that was at the as bad because that was at the beer fest. I picked it up.
Okay.
So
Nice.
that's only a couple months old.
Perfect.
Yep, because me and Warren picked it up
Nice.
when we met Daniel in person, and he popped on to the live stream a little bit with us too.
Well, we got till 11:30 to open up. So how drunk are we gonna get? Just go through all of them?
I have to go make beer at like 10:30.
That's a good idea. Damon, sorry, I'm not trying to steal your employee.
But we can go until about 10:10.
Yeah, we can go a
A
little
longer.
longer, then close it out.
Close it out, and then I can go get the ingredients I need.
Yes.
Because the beauty of doing this live stream and me brewing on Sundays is if I'm missing anything, I can just grab it and
Yeah.
go. And future, I might delay my brew days and stuff. It's just trying to figure out what scheduling was today. So,
Yep.
because I brew on Sundays.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, Yeah, let's not get you too drunk. Also,
I'm also not planning to get too drunk.
that's a good idea. I mean, if we're splitting 3-4 beers, yeah, not a huge deal. You'll probably be fine.
Also, I had food this morning before I came in.
Yeah, that's good. Big greasy food. That's the way to do it.
It's gonna start being fast food.
It's not a bad idea. It wouldn't be. It'd be cool to at the end of a live stream. So let's say we had one thing that I was thinking about, and you guys let me use you as a soundboard. So respond if you've got like a yes or no. But if we did a live stream that was like our normal podcasty live stream in the morning,
The wee heavy is still in there too.
nice, and then we switch that to an actual rest of the brew day live stream in the middle of the day, and at the end of the day we had a different live. So we'd probably go on Twitch or something like that for the brew day stream, and then we finish it off with a live stream that was like a Q&A / us playing video games at the end of the day, or me and whoever else is available or whatever.
Probably me coming back after my brew day.
Yeah, that would be the easiest way to go.
Or even if they don't brew on a Sunday, maybe going down to, with Damon's permission, of course, brewing, maybe live streaming me doing brewing on the 2-barrel system.
Yeah, and then playing video games on his big screen TV.
But
anyways, let us know. Is that a soundboard thing that you guys like? I'm all ears.
Lars says that's really cool. Again, Lars, I really like this. I'm not picking up. It almost tastes a little under-fermented. It's a little on the sweet side, but not back sweetened.
It's definitely not sweet. A lot of it
really
comes from
weird dry sweetness.
It reminds me of when I did a dry hopped hard cider with Willamette hops, and it had that kind of it had that natural hop sweetness without being
Lars told us
sweet.
what hops he used. Citra.
Citra, okay. So probably because of the age, it is not giving a lot of that Citra vibe anymore. But that doesn't mean it's still really good. Like even so, the age is held well. It's nice. It's bright. It tastes better than some other commercially made hop ciders that I've had.
All Citra. Do you want to go with the lead hindering or the rice lager?
Let's go with the rice lager first.
The rice lager is from FORB.
Forb,
I think.
comment above if you want to comment. John Crawford, I've been playing with hop teas to dial in hop combinations for IPAs. Any thoughts on pairing hops to get something more special than just generic hop fruitiness that a lot of IPAs taste like? Yeah, so there's a lot to unpack with that little thing. The first of all, with hop teas, there is a difference in solubility of certain compounds with and without a sugar and starch content in the liquid. So your hop tea will never give you the same level of fruitiness as hops being boiled in wort. They just do it slightly differently. There is who was telling me about this the other day? I think it was one of our customers was telling me about a method where you kind of make a hop tea and then you put the wort on top of the hop tea. I forget what he called it, but that kind of gives the combination of a whirlpool hop and the hop tea benefit. The benefit of some of the compounds that come out of the hop tea before the wort going over the hop tea is hop compounds that can be thiolized. So depending on your yeast strain, you can get certain more bigger and rounded aromatics. It's not that same straight raw fruitiness, some citrus kind of flavors that you get off of a normal boil edition. So it's an interesting thing. We're going to have to try it out.
Yeah, well, what I recommend when you're wine test different hop combinations is make some smashes, honestly.
Yeah.
Because with the base malt that you're wanting to use for your IPA, because honestly, first of all, not enough people do smashes.
Yeah.
But then you're actually tasting what that hop is doing with your base malt, which is where you're getting majority of your sugar compounds from.
It'd be ridiculously fun to make a brewery called Blended, and the idea is that you're making, I feel like blended has multiple different cultural connotations, so maybe that's not a good name, but you're making different beers based off different base beers. So like I've got my Magnum 16-minute boil IPA, and I've got my big Whirlpool IPA, and then I've got this dark beer, and I'm going to make like a slightly amber mixed beer.
Yeah.
The whole idea is just to blend beers. That'd be awesome.
But yeah, no, do smashes, and honestly, you can do them in like a little 1-gallon batches. Like you don't need... that was another thing that they figured out with the IBU stuff is volume size does not matter.
Yeah.
when calculating out. That's because that's a myth that they figured out was going around.
I would imagine that shape of vessel would matter more than volume size.
No, they tested shape of vessels too.
Because the reason in my mind it would work would be because if you have a let's say a 20 barrel and it's very, very vertical, then the boil temperature at the very bottom of it's going to be hotter than the boil temperature at the top.
That makes sense.
So
But yeah.
I haven't done all the tests though, so I can't confirm or deny. But I would have some skepticism on that one, depending on the circumstances. Within a reasonable limit, probably not, but within a grander limit.
Yeah. So this is the rice lager.
It's got a little sulfur to it, and some butterscotchiness.
That's telling me there's a little diacetyl. Yeah, there's a little diacetyl in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can feel that on my tongue.
I don't mind it in this beer though.
No.
Specifically, this beer is bright and light enough that the diacetyl is probably not going to annoy me. It's the sweeter beers that the diacetyl really gets to me because I'm like, ugh, sweet and diacetyl.
And John, the other thing when it comes to figuring out hop, it's also like when you're adding the hop too, drastically changes the flavor. I noticed.
Yeah.
And also the yeast. The yeast will actually impact that too, because I know that they're producing some yeast that actually help pull out certain flavors of hops. The bound thiols.
Yeah. So I mean, depending. Yeah, you're talking about like the new Cosmic Punch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I need to. I want to brew with that, which I might when me and Damon finally sit down and build a hazy IPA recipe, just so that way we can say we did one and we're good.
So to make it a German hazy, all you have to do is put like some sausages in it during the boil. Good to go, German hazy. Why is it so proteiny? It's from the meat.
So, but no, I personally like hop teas in general.
Yeah.
I also just like tea in general. So.
Yeah, hop teas have their purpose. It's just if you want to get a complete brain picture of where your hops are going to go in beer, hop tea isn't the 100%. It's not the way to do it. You'll get some of the flavors, but not all of the flavors, if that makes sense.
Sausage Fetch German hazy would be gonk. I agree. That would be gonk.
It would be gook.
Gook.
Goo.
Gook.
Hell yeah. All right, Adam Chumley's going to make a Sausage Fest German hazy, and he's going to send it to us?
Yeah.
Or we'll make it and then make you come over to try it. Or we'll send you one.
I was going to say, I've been trying to get Adam over here for a while now, so.
Adam's going to come do a collab with us.
I was going to say, I mostly just want to tour Adam around all the great breweries in Spokane and just hang out with him.
It's true. There are a lot of good breweries. Yeah, this rice lager, the diacetyl is a little bit building the more you get through it.
Yeah.
So would I order a second pint? Probably not. Would I have trouble finishing the first pint? No. It's fine, but not. It could be better.
I know Hayden would not be able to drink this at all.
People sensitive to diacetyl will go. Bleh.
Yeah. And yeah. So I can't taste diacetyl, but I can pick out how it feels in my mouth.
Right.
So that's as soon as people say there's diacetyl, it's like, oh yeah, nope, I feel that slickness in my mouth. Mm-hmm. Where oxidation, I can absolutely taste.
Yeah. Yeah, oxidation is one that I don't think I struggle with, but I have to be concentrating to try to find it. Diacetyl is one that I can usually smell before I can taste it.
Yeah, but yeah, no, oxidation I can get like pretty much right off the bat.
This one's a pretty significant amount. It'd be fun to get a like a lab series panel of beers with off flavors on, and like beer, like if we find a beer that like I can taste something and you can't, or vice versa, send that out to a lab and find out what the levels are and figure out like, okay, that's because it had this percentage of whatever. Adam Chudley, invitation accepted.
Woot.
John Crawford, my favorite IPAs I brew are Pilsner, touch of honey malt, then Lutra to let the hop shine. I don't seem to get any sort of biotransformation. The beer typically turns out with the yeast aromas I expect. I am actually not sure what type of biotransformation Lutra does.
Because all yeast does some.
All yeast does some level of biotransformation. It depends on certain enzymes that are produced during yeast activity, which they're able to do. So if they're able to dialyze, if they're able to clip, my brain's not working this morning. If they're able to separate the one compound with the sugar, separate the glycosidic bonds with, yeah, my brain's blanking. But there's two other forms, besides thiolization, there's two other forms of biotransformation that can go on with yeast. One is turning like linalool, with linalool and geraniol, and the other is just clipping the glycoside from the aromatic compound that's already in the compound. Shut off, brain. I mean, turn on, brain. One of those two.
And sorry, I couldn't finish that rice lager with how that diacetyl was feeling in my mouth.
Yeah, I probably could, but I might not, just because I don't need to.
So this one is one of our local homebrewers.
Steel Chair Brewing.
Yep.
Who also streams on Twitch.
And I've posted the link in general chat at one point in time. And genuinely really nice guy.
Yeah. Cab Brewing, has anyone used the enzyme from more beer to prevent diacetyl? ALDC. No, we have it in. Actually, somebody used it. One of the local brewers used it.
One of the, like pro brewers, or home brewers.
One of the pro brewers. It might have been Josh, and he was brewing for Damon, just to make sure something didn't. Because I think he had one batch that had diacetyl, and then he just started using that after that. So
I have no clue.
But I have no experience with it.
Also future live stream, we'll talk about water chemistry, because that's at No Drought we actually go from RO water, and I build the chemistry up.
Nice.
And that's actually something I want to bring Hayden on for.
Oh, cool.
Because Hayden also does a lot of that.
Yeah, he does.
Hayden's one of our local homebrewers, and everything, but yeah, KO, try it. Tell us how it works, if it does.
Yeah, with the English strains, if you ferment them cold naturally, and so I would try it with those three things. So English strain, never get the beer above like 68 degrees, and then also dry hop, and use the ALDC.
Mm-hmm. After listening to a lot of Brewlosophy, I'm all about experiments and doing like 2 batches.
Yeah. Like, so how many things can you do to make diacetyl, but use the enzyme to make it not make diacetyl?
Yep. Yeah, so like what you would do in that case is make the same batch twice. Do one without the enzyme, one with the enzyme.
Mm-hmm.
And then compare. And then if you have a bunch of friends,
unlike us,
do triangle tests.
Yeah.
Which is saying that we should do with the Genus channel more.
Yeah, we probably should. We'll take some setup.
So
again, we'll take that for the down the road content.
Yep.
When we get all our infrastructure set up.
And for those of you who don't know what a triangle test is, it's where you drink 3 beers, and one of the
done. Do it every day.
Well, it's 3 taster glasses.
Okay.
There's only 2 beers in there. 2 of the glasses are one.
And one of the glasses is empty, and you got to figure out which one it is.
Well, and one's different, and then you have to determine if you can taste the difference.
Sorry, I think I'm being funny.
You are being funny.
It was funny in my brain.
So yeah, that's a standard triangle test, and that's a great way to kind of compare beers, and you can even do that with like commercial beers to see how different commercial beers compare.
Yeah. So way back in the day when Homebrew for Life was still like building, a fledgling channel, like 5,000 subs and stuff like that. A lot of what they did, that was the first videos that I got into watching them on, was, trying a cheap American light lager versus like a craft beer version of that same light lager, and having to actually like do taste tests. I think taste tests are fun because you get to get a little bit more into the psychology of how people's palates work differently. But then also just for yourself.
Our palates are very different.
Mm-hmm.
When I go drink with people, I cannot stand the standard classic West Coast hopping anymore.
Yeah, no.
It does not taste. But like I have friends and even brewers that love that flavor.
Depends on how it is, but yeah, I prefer West Coast to most hazies actually. But I also might have to sneeze. But there's a lot of hazies that I can't drink because the hop oil composition gets too high, and bless me, for whatever reason I can't do it.
And Kevin, Balsa Point Kolsch versus Keystone. Yeah, that'd be
Ballast Point.
Ballast Point.
Yeah, the old. That's one of the OG Homebrew for Life videos.
Yep. Also, actually, that might make those quick triangle taste might make good shorts.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, that would actually be a real quick, simple short for you.
I don't know, it's quick, simple, but like definitely quicker than like a full setup, full video.
Yeah. Sorry, me and Peter have been brainstorming a lot of ideas and trying to figure out how to make better content for you all.
Yeah, and how to make it manageable within regular work life, because there's a lot that goes on to everything we're doing right now. So,
given the fact that someone's a cross country coach.
Cross country, I do content for other businesses. I doing content for here. I'm trying to manage a bunch of stuff.
Which is one reason I'm trying to step up and help out a little more here when I can.
We'll get there.
But yeah, what do you think of the blood tangerine?
So blood orange tangerine.
Yeah, blood orange.
Blood orange tangerine. So I also taste the acid on this.
Mm-hmm.
Not nearly as much. So it's almost like if I wasn't looking for it, or if I didn't just like have that on the brain, I probably wouldn't notice it. But the one thing that I would say, I think it's overall good. But the one thing I would say is that it's overly bitter for maybe one of two reasons. One would be hops. High alpha hops are left in the boil for too long. That can rip some flavors out that kind of come across similar to scorching, or it might actually be scorched, meaning there's a heat source that's a little bit too close to the bottom, and so it turns a little bit burnt.
The other bitter way you can get bitterness, especially with the ingredients, is if you get too much pith.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't know how
the blood orange is added.
The blood orange and the tangerine is added, but that is something I've noticed with a lot of my when I do my lime beers, is that you too much pith, and also if it sits too long, that will create some weird bitterness. By the way, hi Jimmy, and Jimmy, I look forward to brewing with you in like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Since we're finally doing the pro-am that he won at No Drought.
Nice. Jimmy, hey, still on. Here I am.
Yep. But yeah. Would I complain about having a pint of this beer? No. Would I probably order a second pint? I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
Am I glad I at least tried it? Yeah.
Yeah, overall it's good. It's just like, so if you're going by BJCP scaling, how this one would probably score would be somewhere between like a 28 and 33 would be my guess. Which, by the way, 40 is like a really, really amazing beer. And 30 to 35 is kind of like, your average beers that, don't really have major issues. So
that's the other thing I'm going to start doing, much to Peter kicking me multiple times, is start doing my beer server Cicerone stuff.
Cicerone!
Yep, I'm finally getting the kick in the butt to do that.
Lars, do you have to keep a good 5K time as a cross-country coach? I am willing to bet that I would struggle to beat 25 minutes in a 5K right now. That said, I think within like a month, if I actually trained within like a month, I could probably get under 20. So it kind of depends on what you think is good.
I am very out of shape. So we're not going to ask me, even though I should start. This winter I'm going to use the treadmill to get back into shape, and then next spring I will start doing run clubs with Peter.
Yeah.
Because with brewing and stuff, I definitely need to make sure I'm staying in shape.
Logan also needs to come to run clubs. Everyone go over to Dorsal Fishing's channel and find a video, and then say, "Hey, Logan, come to run club."
How do I get Kevin? How do I get rid of Voss ass twang? I'm fermenting a second batch at 104 to see if it does something different.
So I've never had a huge acid twang with Voss personally. That said, I usually don't ferment it that warm. With Voss, I usually go between like 80 and 85. It's kind of my range for it. And I find that for me, that's tangerine land. So if I had to guess, I would say your best bet is to schedule your hop load and build your malt bill in a way that maybe rounds out the beer. But it's hard to.
First batch was 85 to 90.
Okay. I don't know. I'd have to taste it. It'd be hard to say.
Kevin, post your recipe and when you're doing your hop additions in the Discord, and the crew there. We're going to be doing a lot of hop additions. I was gonna say, even without me commenting, we have a decent crew that are critiquing recipes in the Discord, and giving advice, because there's a lot of communal knowledge in this chat in the Discord. Because me and Peter can only do so much, and we also fall into habits.
Yeah.
That's the big thing, is the more opinions you can get, and the more that you're willing to adjust based off those opinions, the better. Because, as we said, every person's palate's a little bit different, and also brewers fall into habits.
Yeah.
We find what works for us in our system, and we just go with that, and we don't necessarily adjust, which is one reason I'm very happy to be starting at No Drought brewing beers that I typically have avoided brewing at home. Because I'm coming in with a very fresh set of eyes and willing to learn and adjust, which is why Damon's already sent me stuff to review and research to figure out how to brew better German beers.
The learning part of it.
Yep.
Cab Brewing says he added a couple grams of baking soda to the end of the boil to jack pitch pH to 5.5. Final pH was 5.4 without the twang. 4.4 without the twang. Yeah, that makes sense. To just, if you're raw trying to get rid of the acid or buffer against the acid, I would almost think that the sodium in baking soda had more to do with the fullness and not the acid twang than the baking soda itself. One thing that I know about certain, not all, but certain acid-producing yeast and bacteria is if the pitch is started with a pH that's too high, they overproduce acid to compensate, and usually that means that although the final pH ends up being higher or the same, they produced more acid to get that final pH, if that makes sense. So if you have more things that buffer against acid, you have more of the same acid to get there, which the flavor of the acid is a big part of what you're talking about. And so if the actual amount of acid in the beer is above a certain threshold, then you're going to taste it more than if the actual pH from the acid is less, if that makes sense. That's part of why titratable acidity is a measurement used in wine versus raw pH.
Also, I'm going to let you all know, I am going to do an experiment here once I get my brewing under control over at No Drought. I am going to, probably with Jimmy's help, because he said that he would help me, and maybe Hayden, brew a smoked amber with every type of smoked malt that I can get my hands on.
I just ordered 3 more, so I've got you.
Yep, no, I figured, and there's a couple, me and Tim were talking about, there's a couple of custom smoked malts from Sugar Creek Maltery over in North Carolina that I want to pick up.
Adam Chembley said he fermented dried Lutra at 68 on accident, sort of, and it turned out super clean. Used Voss in the same batch / temperature, and it had a better flavor. Yeah, Voss at room temperature I've done with really, really good effects. I don't think I've ever done Lutra 100% at room temperature. I think I always start at like 75. But I've done Lutra everywhere between like 75 and like 95, and it's been kind of pretty good across the board. Never like perfect, but...
I was going to say, I like Lutra.
We are drinking now Lars's...
Goldberry IPA. First of all, I like the head on it. But...
It's got a lot of good commercial quality smells. And again, not knowing the age of this, the only thing that I would say immediately that is off-putting is sometimes there's plantiness that comes with hazy IPAs. Like so much plant matter is in there that I can taste the chewing on a blade of grass kind of taste.
Yeah, well, that comes off to me as a little bit of a weird, bitter astringency at the end.
Yeah, that by the way is super, super common in commercial versions of hazy IPAs. Like one of the reasons I don't drink too many commercial hazy IPAs is because there's too many of them that have that exact flavor. And these are beers that are getting like 4.2 on Untapped, like beers that people go and clamor towards.
About 2 months.
About 2 months. Okay, not bad.
That's not too bad. Yeah, I do get a little bit of that astringency, that grassy astringency at the end. But overall, again, I wouldn't be upset having a pint of this put in front of me.
This tastes like a beer. Like if this was labeled like a commercial beer and you told me it was, I wouldn't second guess it.
That's actually what I thought was it was a canned commercial beer from local.
Yeah.
Based off the fact that it was just written on the side, and it was canned.
How gangsters do it.
Also, Daniel, send me once you figure out the actual name of it, send me the name, and if you can get the beer, send it to me, and I will even give you my personal address if you want to send it to me directly. since I trust you and I've met you in person.
We'll trade you.
Or send it here, because the more smoked beers I can try, because I personally love smoked beers. People are about 50-50 on those.
Yeah.
Either you love them or you hate them.
Yeah.
And I personally love them. It's going to be a very, very... There's going to be a lot of prep work, and Warren has already told me that he'll help me get all the grains pre-prepped so that way we could just rapid batch in as many anvils as we possibly, or mash them.
Smoke.
Do you think filtering after whirlpool would help?
Yes.
Yes.
100%. But that's how I do most of my beers, because I don't like all that hop material going into the fermenter. And I think that plant matter, the fermentation happening on the plant matter, is a big part of why you get that.
Yep. When I was homebrewing, I filtered all my beers going into the carboy.
Yeah.
Just because on the homebrew scale, it's hard to get a good whirlpool.
Mm.
So you're not leaving a lot of the plant matter in the vessel, especially on the the mash and boils. It's any homebrew. Even if you can get a good whirlpool, I do recommend filtering still. Just to, and that will help with the clarity of your beer. Maybe non-hazies if you're trying to go for a hazy, but
I mean, even with hazies, the amount of hop oil is a big part of what creates that haze. Plant matter can also create the haze, but it's usually a settle out kind of haze creation. The biotransformation is a big part of what creates good haze. The body of the beer, the grist composition is a good part of what creates the haze. There's a lot of ways to get a good hazy look, which, by the way, this is a great hazy look.
Yeah.
With those beers, while still filtering out the hop material, you don't have to put a bunch of crud into your fermenter to still get hazies.
Yeah. No. And again, I just get a fine mesh sieve, and
yeah,
that's all I do. Is I would filter.
Oxygenate your beer and get rid of the crud at the same time.
Yep. Okay. Thank you for reminding me. I need to oxygenate beer today.
Yeah, do that.
Sorry, I'm also mentally going over the checklist of everything I need to do today.
Smart. It's good to have an action plan.
Luckily, today's beer is simpler than the last beer me and Damon brewed.
Nice.
It's not an IPA.
Yeah, IPAs can be tough.
And also, it was me and Damon learning the system.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's the filter your beers. It just helps with flavor, helps with clarity. You're not putting a bunch of extra gunk in there, which means it's easier to clean your carboy at the end.
Definitely. Let's get a couple more. Oh, if you still use carboy, I don't use carboys anymore. If you would like, we're gonna start getting close to wrapping because you have to be done by 10:10. So if you got any last questions, let's hit those real quick. We got 5 more minutes. Other than that, let's try to work on slowly saying thank you those who were here today, and we hope we can. All
42 of you.
Yeah. Hit the smash button.
Yeah.
So if you want to smash, then hit smash.
And give us ideas for topics and stuff.
Join the Discord. The Discord will have a good forum to chat about things you'd like to see on the next live stream.
I will actually make a whole channel for that.
Perfect.
So media suggestions. Recap of the new schedule.
So new schedule is we're going to try to get back to every Sunday live streams, but the goal is 1 video and 1 live stream per week, and the live streams are going to look a little different. And so we're going to, over the next couple weeks to couple months, be working on setting up multicam for our live streams. I'm
going to be honest, there's going to be 2 weeks in October that there might not be live streams, but that's because I am traveling to St. Louis for a wedding, which send your brewery suggestions to me for St. Louis, and also because my birthday is right after the wedding, I decided I'm going to DC to visit my cousins. So send me breweries in the greater DC area as well.
But if we can set up a live stream in a way that we see the big part of the live stream is also doing a brew day, we can maybe get a guest scheduled on or something like that during those 2 weeks and set it up that way.
Hey, Jimmy, what you doing?
There we go. So we want to do live streaming to brew. The live stream and brew part, the brew will already be started by the start of the live stream on Sundays at 8:45ish. But then after the end of the normal live stream around 10, we'll probably switch off the YouTube part and stay on Twitch and then do the brew on Twitch. So it's a little more casual, a little bit more Q&A, watching what's going on. And then maybe by the end of the day, doing something that's just for fun after the brew day is over.
I have plenty of, if we have enough people, I have plenty of board games I can bring too.
Sweet.
Including beer-themed board games, including Hammered Heroes, made locally.
Made locally. But yeah, the new content strategy is going to be trying to get out more content related to brewing that's actually happening here. And also evolve our live stream in a way that it's a little bit less episodic, just going over different styles of beers and our thoughts on new stuff and kind of opening it up. So we'll still have a similar format for that main part, but with the guys that we're actually making that beer at the same time. And so you can see our recipes, see our process, see everything that goes on with it.
So that way then, for Beer of the Week, we also can talk about what malt and hop and yeast we're actually using in said beer. Instead of doing Stefan Stoudemire, which I didn't see Stefan today, so I'm sad.
Yeah.
But instead of doing our 5-minute, like, off the top of our head, we was like, oh, here's the actual recipe right off the bat.
Yeah. So that's what we're trying to work on concept-wise. Hope you guys enjoy it.
I'm screenshotting real quick because Zed sent...
Shafley and Wellspent are worth visiting in St. Louis. Nice.
Yep. We'll see how much time I have, because again, I'm specifically there for a wedding, so I'm trying to work brewery visits around that with my friend that's going with me to the wedding.
Well, if you need a videographer, let me know.
No, I will ask the bride if she needs a videographer.
All right. Anyways, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let's. I don't think we got any more questions since the last one.
I'm seeing lots of thank yous, recap, thanks. Yep. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Go follow us on our social medias. I'm Bear Puncher Brews on Instagram, which is not in there. I don't post much, but I'm going to try to post more now that I'm doing more beer stuff.
Genus Brewing on TikTok.
Genus Brewing. Go check out Genus Brewing on TikTok. And I look forward to chatting with you guys in the Discord and stuff and everything. So, and Tim is good. Tim is just busier than busy.
Yeah, he's got other stuff going on.
So, we're giving Tim Sundays to sleep in because he's working too much.
All right. 3, 2, 1, and.